6 years. 6 years since the first announcement of this movie actually happening. Jeez, I was still in school by that time, and here I am now. Going in, after seeing a couple trailers and TV spots, I see Sonic's flick getting a good 60 to 80 out of 100, maybe making back its budget in the process. Didn't think the way this thing turned out was going to entice me at all, but hell, it's Sonic and he looks good. How can I not? May as well see the film for myself today. Well now. Not anything groundbreaking or on the scale of other highly rated animated movies, but it's a good, simple watch. It's something that you can digest for a while, a movie aimed at all ages, and it does hit its mark pretty well with that in mind. It does its job, and I can't really say fairer than that, having gone in and watching this thing with an open mind. The redesigned Hedgehog for live action works here, and works well, as he feels very fluid to watch, all kinds of bouncing in his motion, and it helps give off the feeling of real to a level of some kind. Nothing to get immersed with though, and need I say it, it's a big upgrade from what we had seen the first time round. That's about the gist of it, however. And if you're watching this review without, having seen the movie first, you might want to click away because I'm about to start getting into the finer details. There are a few issues I have with this movie, despite it being pretty good. The pacing of the movie is very, very fast. It feels like it needs its spacing and wasn't able to fit everything into 100 minutes of runtime. And matter of fact, the backstory you get at the very beginning only lasts for 2 minutes? It flies by really, really fast. One moment you're seeing just Sonic running in Green Hill Zone, the next is him being ambushed with this bird woman named Longclaw, and then it's just 10 years later. Poof. Sure, you could argue that this is Sonic's point of view from him telling the story of the film, and he's recapping everything in the blink of an eye at that speed, but jeez, it is really snappy and makes it hard to process. The musical score is also a problem I have with it, albeit a small problem at that. It is orchestral, and it's only got a couple extra instruments mixed in at times, like, a square synth here or some extra drums there. But because I'm so used to orchestral scores like this in movies, without any sort of specific leitmotif, like, the Avengers or even Spider-Verse, I can't recall any original tracks of note from the film apart from one, that being Green Hill Zone on piano. And that happens at the very end. Anyway, speaking as a fan foremost, and for first, this obviously doesn't link itself to the games too tough, let alone at all. It's an original, simple take of the Hedgehog in a simple, by-the-books plot, just told differently. Though they don't tell the audience about it too tough, the way his speed is shown off is pretty nice. It's all lightning based and slow motion, nothing to really get yourself, concerned about. Writing wise, jokes can be admittedly hit or miss. Some will get a few, vice versa will get vice versa in the crowds. For example, there's a scene where Sonic starts a bar fight by whacking a dude around the face with a bottle, except it doesn't shatter at all, it just makes a satisfying donk. So he does it over and over again. There are also a lot of references to brands and things via word of mouth, and some of those work, but most of them don't, and it just really feels like a bit of ham-fisted conversation. Like someone was paid to say this, if you know what I'm saying. Moving on, the human characters and those who portray them do a really good job, though they come off as a bit useless. The only three that you really pay attention to the most in the film and get a good read of is Tom, his wife Maddie, and Robotnik. Especially Robotnik. You can clearly tell Jim Carrey was immersed in that role because he sells himself as the Doctor really well. And his chemistry with other characters and scenes are usually arrogant, spiteful, and acting superior in a very harsh way. It can be fun to watch what he does or says during a certain scene. Usually, he has the best dialogue in said scenes. When it comes to the cinematography of the film, however, the scenes in there are nothing on the scale of being defining or, film. It's got a few good shots in there that would make for some pretty nice pictures to share around the internet, but that's about all I can say there. It's quite empty. All in all, this is a by-the-books film with a by-the-books plot that you see in most live-action adaptations. And Hop is probably the biggest comparison you can make to this film. But it's still a decent flick to watch all the same. All you need to know is that, yes, Sonic does floss, like twice. Certain shots in the trailers were used in different areas, and it is an origin story of sorts for both Sonic and Dr. Eggman, or Robotnik. Speaking as a fan to a fan, you don't need to watch it unless you want to see a real loose take on Sonic. You'll get a kick out of it, but it's more of a middling to dull kick at that. As a fan to a person, however, I see it working as an easy way to slide into the franchise and learn more about the series. In the end, I'd give this movie a good 6 out of 10. It's a nice watch for families first and everybody else second. It's nothing groundbreaking or overly special, but it's a decent game character adaptation all the same. I wouldn't mind a sequel if it's on the cards. I'm out.